Hi everybody, Miss Pettit here. I'm going to be showing all of you how to create your 3D cityscape today. We're going to walk through the steps together and yeah, then you'll be able to see how to get started making your own city, right? I'll share my screen and we'll get started. All right. Oh, Rosie, come here. This is my dog. Here, I want to introduce you to my dog really quick. Here, Rosie. This is my dog. Just wanted to quickly say hi. Hey, Rosie, say hi. I think she's annoyed. She probably wants to go back. Hey, Rosie, you want to go back? Now she's just sniffing the table. All right. Here you go. There you go, girl. All right, let's get started. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, so what we got here is my piece of paper. All right. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my pencil here, and I'm going to draw my rectangle by combining different lines, right? So I have my first horizontal line here, and now I got my vertical line that goes up and down, and I got one rectangle right there. Bam, awesome. All right, now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to leave a bunch of space at the very bottom of our buildings because we're going to need to fold them to sit them upright on our road, right? Or our background or whatever paper that you use. Okay, so always make sure that your buildings have at least an inch of empty space at the bottom because you're going to fold them, right? I'll show you what that looks like later. You could also take inspiration from Chicago and even create your own Willis Tower, right? Or Sears Tower. I don't know if anyone still calls it the Sears Tower, but I used to when I was your age. All right, so I'm drawing a little antenna here. This will look funny when I cut it out. There we go. I think the Willis Tower has little parts that jut outward like that, right? Okay, I got my buildings. Now what I'm doing here is I'm adding some vertical lines to decorate the inside of my building. And honestly, I'm kind of trying to imagine buildings that I've seen before, downtown that have really, really large windows, right? That sometimes almost look like they have designs or special details added on the outside, right? You could take this as an opportunity to become your own architect, right? Now, if anyone knows what an architect is, in a classroom, I would ask you to shout out the answer or raise your hand, right? But an architect, I'll just say it here since we're, doing remote learning, but an architect is a designer, a person who creates images to plan out buildings, right? To construct buildings. So a painter creates paintings, an architect creates buildings, right? Second grade, we had our architecture project, right? Where we created our windmills and towers, right? And this go around will be a little different, right? So we'll be, thinking about architecture, right? Or different buildings for our ideas. But I'm being creative, I'm making up my own. I'm just thinking about what I've seen before to get me started. All right. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ink my artwork. Now, I always love to ink my work to make my lines big and bold, right, and dark so you can see them, right? It also helps me, figure out, like it helps give me time to just focus. There's something relaxing for me about inking my artwork. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because it's simple and I know that all I need to do is follow my lines that I already made. It also kind of helps me think, like what kind of colors would I want to add to my buildings here, And you know what I'm going to do? My marker is nifty in that I have a tiny tip at the end and then I have like a big one at the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tiny marker for the inside of my buildings. All right. I'm going to use my big marker for the outside so that all my special details don't get covered up by a marker that's too thick. Now you could do this with a regular Sharpie as your big marker and maybe a pen, right? Just like a pen from, you know, a drawer that you have around or your backpack to create the small lines. Alrighty, folks. So now we're on to adding color. Okay, let's see here. What should I do? I'll use brown. A lot of buildings are brown. All right, now what I'm doing is I'm just gonna add color to my artwork, right? By just shading regularly, right? And there's a difference, right, in how we add colors with colored pencil. Notice how when I hold my colored pencil here near the tip, my color is a little bit darker, but then when I hold my colored pencil towards the edge here, it's so much lighter, right? So try and use that, right, for your project to try and help you come up with different ways of using your tools to get different colors, right? Now I'm gonna have fun adding as many different colors as I want. All right, everybody, so what I'm doing next is I'm taking my scissors and I'm going to cut out my buildings. I'm gonna make sure to carefully follow my lines and the only pair of scissors I have are my kitchen scissors. Obviously, I don't want you to use scissors this ginormous, so keep that in mind. We're in quarantine, right? So we're just working with what we got. Yeah, funny story about these scissors. I use them to cut my pizza. I'll use my scissors and I'll cut my pizza slices instead of using a pizza roller. People always laugh when I do that because it looks funny, but they're good scissors. Good for art too. All right, so I'm cutting out my buildings. I'm using the back of my scissors, right? And I'm being careful, following my lines. Now I'll cut into that part later, but I think for now I'm just gonna worry about cutting out all of my buildings at once. Okay, so now I have all 4 of my buildings cut out. Now what I'm gonna do is I am going to get a new sheet of paper. And this sheet of paper will be like my road or my street that my city will live in, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold all of my buildings only about an inch from the bottom right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this building over, take the bottom of my building, because that's where I want my building to stand, right? On its bottom, or else that would be silly, right? Next step is I'm going to take the bottom of my building, right? And I'm gonna put tape right here, right on the little flap that I just folded, okay? So I'm gonna take a piece of tape about an inch long, place my building up, figure out where I want it to go on my street, all right? Then just add tape. One thing you can also try is if your building is flopping too much, like if it looks all sad and droopy like that, you could try and bend it back the opposite direction. Oh, well, look, that worked. And it stood up straight. But yeah, it might take some trial and error, right? Trying, right? And working on how to solve our problem, you know, as we go along. And then that way we'll learn, right? Okay. There goes the pet store, looking good. All right, and then the last one is my little Willis Tower. All right, you know, I think I'm gonna already bend it a little so it stands up. Perfect, okay. There we go. Awesome, perfect. All right, and now you should have your own little city. And look, there we are. Got a pet store. Oh, this is so fun. Pet store, my purple building, Willis Tower in the back, and I got my nifty yellow building right there. And you know what? I'm gonna add a little dino, all right? Now I don't have any of those cardboard cylinders that Cassie Stevens, our friend from the video, was using. But what I do have is more paper. So I think what I'm going to do is make a dinosaur out of paper, right? I'm going to show you how to do that, right? So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Brontosaurus classic dino, right? Big Brontosaurus with a big curvy back, a swoopy long neck. Let's have its mouth open. Looks like it's smiling, right? There we go. Now I'm going to make its legs really long. I'm touching the bottom of my paper because I'm going to fold the bottom of my dino's legs. All done. You could also decorate your street, right, with little winding roads in the middle. But yeah, as long as you got your city built and decorated, you are good to go. All right. I love what I've seen so far. All of you have been doing an excellent job. I'm so excited for our art Zoom that will be next Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to seeing what all of you have created. And yeah, I wish you all the very best of luck. And please reach out to me if you have any questions at all. All right. Okay, without further ado, I am signing off, and I hope to see you all very soon. Stay happy, stay healthy and safe, and yeah, have a great rest of your week.